as we move into the trust economy, that is going to be the thing that is going to pay dividends, but it's not going to pay off in the short term, right? It's not the attention economy is very short term. It's very fast. Like we were talking like 10, 15 second videos, like whatever the hook is, whatever the catch is. And I think people hopefully are getting wise to that. Connor had some good questions, and I can't remember. There's one question that he asked us yesterday. I was like, "Ooh, that would be a good podcast." And I was trying to rack my brain to remember what it was, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if you.
Well, I mean, with Connor, man, he's always got his mind's always working, and he comes up with some good stuff, and I just like, he kind of stands on business on a lot of stuff, as far as his beliefs, and I just respect the heck out of that from that guy, and
Yeah.
and just like I'm happy for him and his wife, and them being parents. He was very inquisitive when it came to parenting question, and
Yeah.
how to raise, how to do this, and at some points during our conversation, I mean, I like put myself back in my 28 27-year-old self, and was like, I don't think I was asking these questions. Let me rephrase that. I don't think I had anybody to like ask questions like that. You know what I mean? Like
bounce mom.
I mean, obviously my parents were there, but like somebody outside of like immediate family, to ask questions like that. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
Cool
I
deal.
thought so too. It's funny because Connor and I've got another friend in Oregon, Caleb, and just had their first little baby boy, and he was kind of asking me some similar questions about this and kind of the nervous anticipation and excitement and all the weirdness. It's like, yeah, your life's going to change and it's going to be amazing. Yeah, and I can't remember why. It was somebody else, because it's kind of funny because there's some people that I know that they had kids really young, right? They had kids when they were like, or even, I had one friend, I think she had her first when she was 16, something like that.
Yeah.
So by the time you're 40, you're a grandma, or you're 45, like you're a grandma, or a grandpa. Now, and then I have other friends that, they're older than me and they just had their first kid like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's just it's interesting because, young parents versus old parents. And I don't know if I would have been a very, just because of the selfishness and the things that I had and stuff like that. And I don't know. I don't think I told you guys this last night. We've probably talked about it before, but I was so scared to have kids, mostly because of my siblings and how they turned out. Because my parents are great, but my siblings, it was rough. I saw what my parents went through. And I think that's what I mean by it was just rough. I mean, my parents, God bless them. I think I don't know if I could have done it, perfectly honest. And I saw how my brother and my sister treated them. And so I didn't want to have kids because I was like, well, if that's what it's going to look like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. And it was at this conference once, and it was, the Holy Spirit was just kind of like, hey, you're not that good. You can't screw them up that bad. And you can't, really take the credit for it. You can just, more like, you just be faithful what I'm telling you to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was after that I was like, okay, I can have kids and it's going to be okay. But yeah, I remember those days. It was, it's fun. And because I had a lot of friends, my buddy Mick, who passed away last year, and he was kind of one of those older people that I had to bounce stuff off of. And he's like, you just can't explain it. And everybody's going to tell you that you're not going to understand it until it happens. And then the baby's in your arms and you're like, oh, then your perspective and everything shifts. And so until you have that experience, you don't know. And I think I might have told this on one of the podcasts, but I feel like I say this more and more, that you're not an adult until you have kids, which is offensive.
Yeah.
I know, because there's plenty of people that can't have kids for whatever reason. Okay. Or have just chosen to not have kids. But there is a different level of respect that happens anywhere in the world. You have kids. And I know we've talked about this on the podcast, right? When we were in Peru, me and Peyton, like there was a different level of respect that I had from people just because I had a kid with me,
Right.
right? Just because I have my son with me. And so people were like, oh, okay. Like in, you're here, right? You're an adult now. Um,
Yeah.
and being able to really like celebrate that because I'm so excited for Connor. I'm so excited for him to have baby girl. Sounds like, and so it's just going to be
Right.
fun. It's gonna be awesome, and all the things that he thinks he knows and he's so dogmatic about, and I tease him about all the time that you don't know. There's no manual that comes with these things. You just you gotta figure it out.
Right. No, no bow tie. Download a PDF file and here you go.
Yeah, it'd be great. Be, hey, Chat GPT, what should I do this situation? It's like Chat GPT doesn't know your kid.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, that's
It's fun. Well, I mean, I speaking of, the conversations we had last night. I mean, what like the big reason why we like got together was, uh, obviously for conversation, but it was the big 4-0 for you yesterday, man.
I
Like,
know. It's big 4-0.
right, like, yeah.
I'm a third of the
Um,
way done.
you threw it away. Yes,
So I got 80 more, baby.
absolutely. Yeah, heck yeah, man. We got a long life ahead of us. Um, and I know that you're someone that journals and reflects and um, about just like maybe even like daily things for you. But I think 40's a new mark, man. It's a new number. Uh, it feels like when I turned 40, like even just saying it, you're like 40. That oh man, like whoa. I didn't know you were 40. I was like, whoa, easy now. Wow. I mean, yeah, I am. Um, like it just comes with a this like a different like aura about you and when you turn that extra um age and number like what are some things that like you're reflecting about when
Yeah.
you like sat down in the quiet of your own like time and go, wow, okay.
Yeah. There's been a couple things. One thing is the work that I do now, I didn't think I'd be doing until I was at least 40. But I've been doing it for 5 years, 6 years, something like that now.
Mm,
Because I think there was part of me that the older I get, the less dogmatic I become about things, and I feel like the less that I know. And I know that is the path of mastery, right? So the Dunning Kruger effect. People can Google that if they're curious what that is. But it's when you uh, when you're right out of the gate, you're a beginner. You think you know more than you actually know, right? And so when I was 20, I knew a lot. And the older I get, I realize how ignorant I was. But then further you get further along the point of mastery, and you realize how much there is to know, but you also don't realize how much you actually do know. If that makes sense.
mm,
So it's an
yeah.
interesting paradox. Because of that, I wanted to do this type of work, but I wanted to wait till I was 40. I do it now. One thing when I was 23, 24, something like that. Pastor Stan Simmons, who was a pastor at a church in Billings, Montana, Faith Chapel, and he started it when like 18 people or something like that, and it grew into I think a church of like 6 or 7,000, which for Dallas, Texas, not that big of a church. For Billings, Montana, that's a huge church, right? Probably one of the
Wow.
largest in the state. Um, but he did a sermon one time or a talk one time, and he was talking about I can't remember. I think it's in Proverbs where it's essentially like Lord, teach us to number our days. And so what he did is he had this revelation. I think this is when he turned 60, where he had his executive assistant get like two huge bowls, and they were full of marbles. And it was here's the average number of days that you get to live. And he said, okay, I want you to like get this number of marbles. It's kind of this ridiculous project, right? And then these two bases, and then one base you just filling up with. Here's all the days I've had. Here's all the days that if I live to the average lifespan, I will live to this number. And every day he'd go and take one of those marbles and move it to the next jar, knowing that when he ran out of marbles there, that every day beyond that was, realizing obviously every day is a gift, but also like if you get past that number, you're in rare air. Like that's a big deal, you know? And so I was kind of reflecting on that. And so this morning, this morning I was thinking about that, and I got a message from my dad. I got a message from my grandpa, and just kind of like that. Also, the realization, I'm like, I'm not going to have many more of those. Like, I'm not going to have that. And so, if I think it in terms of decades, I'm blessed to have my dad and my grandpa with me. The same blessing when I'm 50. And
Yeah.
so, just kind of the same sobering reminder of really maximize the days, maximize the times, and be really intentional about the people and the time that you have. So it's kind of a morbid thought, but it's more of I think the thing I push people all the time is you think and you look back on life, what do you want your life to be known for? And are you living in that intention right now? And I know we've talked about this plenty on the podcast, and because I'm doing these annual training sessions and I'm encouraging people to write goals, I feel like I give this speech all the time. So I'm not gonna give it again, but it's just that idea, like, man, live intentionally. Like if you're not being intentional with your life and you're just living on autopilot, you're not going to like where you end up. And I think that's the feeling that I have for so many people. It's like, man, you don't have to live like this.
Right.
I don't want you to just live in default. I don't want you to just exist. I want you to actually take life and maximize everything that you can get out of it, whatever that looks like for you. But if you don't know, you don't know. I
Right.
want to help you. That's the challenger and the motivator inside me. That's like, let's go. Let's do something bigger, better, badder. But yeah, and I guess the last thought was just thinking in terms of decades, and I think it was escaping me. It'll come to me, I'm sure, soon. Probably because I'm 40. That's why. But you're right. When you're 0 to 10, you're just a kid. You're clueless about life. 10 to 20, man, the amount of developmental changes that happen in that decade is just ridiculous, right? You're in the thick of it with middle schoolers, and then high school, and then going into college, and then people get married and have kids. A lot of times in those decades, and then 20 to 30, it was really just trying to, like, for me anyway, I was kind of trying to make my way, and I think that's the 20s. It's just like I need to just start emerging, and so people kind of know who I am. And then 30s, it was more of, okay, I have some experience. Now it's about almost like production. Does that make sense? Like, here's what I can do. And it sounds terrible, but even walking a day, so I'm inside Connor's shop right now, and this is so cool for me because the first time I met with him and started doing this work that I do, one of the things was like, man, we need a new shop someday. I was like, sweet, let's write that down. It's not a year goal. This is a year goal, but we wrote that thing down, and now sitting inside this it's massive, and it is beautiful, and it is unbelievable, and just kind of like, man, like seeing the vision like come to life and become a reality. And anyway, it's so cool.
That is cool.
Anyway, I live for that. I live for this kind of stuff. It's just so neat. So anyway, I'm looking around in this shop, and I've got these friends that I've had for a long time, and it's just so cool. So as I'm walking through the shop, and I wander upstairs, and I look at the offices, and there's like 5 offices that are empty because we know the expansion that we're gonna have. And I'm like, man, yeah, if I worked here, this would be a really fun place to work. And man, there's so much value I'd bring to this place because I know me. Right, and I think that was the decade of the 30s where it was, I know I can produce, and I know I can really make things great and do some great things. And so now I'm going into 40. The things that I'm shifting this year is more of, okay, how do I then start to replicate this in other people, and how do I replicate this where it's not just me producing? And I think that's maybe a marker of maturity, or just kind of where I'm at in the business. But yeah, so many cool things for me on the business front. And it's so strange because my business, like the business that I have and the work that I do, are so interconnected because the work that I do is really about people, and it's about high performing people like entrepreneurs. And so when I get to work with them and I get to impact them in a significant way, that trickles down to the teams and the families that they have, that they employ. And so, yeah, I'm super blessed to be able to do this. And so now the next phase for me is, okay, in my 40s, how do I then find other people like me that I can then like help systemize so that we can make a bigger and bigger and bigger impact. So it's not just me. That's why I went to Florida. That's why I don't know if, did I tell you this last night? I'm going to be doing this, Latinos in negocios. So Latinos in business in
Yeah.
Albany. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to really have to brush up on my Spanish. Uh, because I know that there's such a need there, and I've got a guy that really wants to do this and run with me. So I'm like, okay, Henaro, if we want to do this, like I'm with you. I'm gonna back in a way that I haven't done before, and not just here, right?
Nice.
Stuff that I want to do in Florida, people in different parts of the country. It's just cool. It's just cool to see how, yeah, the doors that are opening. So I think that's what my 40s are going to be about. Is going to be about that, like replication, and then yeah, I don't know. I think 50s and 60s are then going to be different. I think it's going to be more of like moving into kind of the kingmaker stage, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Where it's I don't want to be the
Well,
guy.
right.
Sorry, I've been talking a lot. You got me
No,
going,
you're
right?
good.
One
No,
little
no, I
question.
like it, man. I like. Well, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, when you're 50, right? That's in 10 years. Uh, we have a 13-year-old. No,
He'll be 13 this year.
13.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a 13-year-old. In 10 years, he'll be 23. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like, so
You know what's so funny?
it's crazy.
Yeah, because when I write goals every year, I actually do that. I do 10-year and 3-year, and I write the ages of my kids, like my age
Nice,
and the age of my kids that are going to be there. Because then yeah, Peyton will be 23. Who knows what he's going to be doing at that point?
right?
He's going to be 16. God bless me when he's 16. I'm going to be calling you a lot. Be like, Ray, what do I do with this? Anyway,
So, like, I know, man. I just I like how like I said, man, you're a planner, you're a builder, um uh I'm a loss for words right now. Engineer, you're an engineer at heart, you know what I mean? Like, you like how to figure out how things work, and not only work but do it efficiently, right?
yeah,
So and that's why I like gravitated towards you when we first started being friends. Like, there was just something about that you were trying to, like, that you had a certain set of habits, or like something about you that I was like, oh, I definitely am not very strong in that, but I know that, I know this guy could probably help me out in life. So uh for you to be in, um you know this is kind of like, um, your labor, like some of the stuff that you've done, like to help people out, right? For you to be there, dude. Like, I'm just like thinking about, you saying things about like Connor, you being in his shop. Like, we knew Connor when he was a high school kid. You know what I mean? When we like when I hired him to like fix my landscape, like, and I was one of, or dig a hole for my trampoline. Like, that's, and now he's got, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, dude.
it's a very cool.
Yeah,
It makes
oh,
me, like, I'm very, I guess I'm like a kind of a sentimental guy. Like, I feel I know where he's been, and just for all of
yeah,
us, like, you know what I mean? Like, where we've all been. And for you to just say, and I'm tracking with you, right? 30, trying to, like, establish, like what you kind of what you're all about, and like, and in 40s, you're probably like, you've built a foundation. Now you're like stacking up on top of it, and to where when you're 50, right? Now you have the blueprint of the house. Like, let's go
yeah,
make an here you like go make another one. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
here's how you do it. So,
yeah,
like, I love it,
for sure.
man. See, that's the engineer in you. That's what you do. Like,
Well,
you
listen,
put it in these nice. You like to put it in a nice PDF package.
yeah, I have my mom to thank for that because that's not my natural tendency. But I know that that's how other people work, and my dad too. I'd be very, very much the engineer. I think we talked about this on one of the podcasts too. That so Patrick, but David he did this thing back in December last year, which was a couple months ago. It was basically a business planning workshop for entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So I wanted to be part of it and learn. Right, I'm always in the learning mode. It's I get into teacher mode too often because it's what I do a lot of times. Um, but anyway, he had one part of this presentation where he's essentially talking about how we are so short sighted in America. Like our culture is very short sighted because we think, and if somebody has a 3-year plan, everybody's like, oh my gosh, good thinking. But then he talks about Japan and how Japan, I can't remember them. It's like over 1,200 businesses that are over 100 years old. So they all survived World War II, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like they've, that's a big thing. So his challenge to everybody was, don't create just like a 5-year plan. I want you to create a 50-year plan. And he talked about himself and he's like, I know I've got 30 years in me to like really blow this thing up. So for me, it was an interesting thing because when I heard that, knowing that realistically, how big of I mean, the dude's 74. So he's going to be 75 this year.
Yeah.
He's still running construction crews. The
Yep.
dude's crazy. He's just awesome. And so I'm like, okay, I know I got at least until 80. So that means I've got a 40-year run. And so then I backed it up a little bit. I was like, well, I started this when I was 35. Like I started this company when I was 35. So I was like, I need a 50-year run. So then as I'm looking at, I'm 5 years in, so I'm 10% done of this run that I want to do and the vision of this company that I have. And so that for me is like cool, pretty exciting because it's like, I don't have to have it all figured out right now or this year. And even, if I look back to, when Connor first started, we first started like envisioning what the shop was going to look like. I remember on the whiteboard, and this is where I get goosebumps, right? I remember on this thing out and we talked about like, what is it going to look like? Like, what do we want it to look like? And one of the things was, man, if we want this place to be a place where we have really good workers, we want those good workers to work for us. We want them to be dads and family people that really care about their kids. And so how can we bless them and how can we do this? And so they're like, well, we need to build a daycare. Like that was envisioned 5 years ago. Like we want to put a daycare on site so that we can have a place where moms, dads, like they're there, right? And they're intimate. So when it's lunch break, you're not just going to lunch. You're actually going to go play with your kids, like those types of things, right? And so, and there's obviously like things that go into that. But I'm sitting in the conference room and the daycare's right there. It's so cool. Like there's no kids in it yet. There's still, getting through final inspections and whatever, but right. Just so cool to see when visions come to life. And it's, not just materially, but same with people, like see people's like the vision of their life actually come to life and they're maximizing that. So yeah, it's just been cool. It's been a fun experience being here today.
Heck yeah, man. That's really cool. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be your friend and like see your journey and continue to watch your journey and your the progress that you make, man. So that's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Billy.
Yeah, you bet, dude. So you're back in Montana for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was actually like pretty decent and like not too cold when you got here. Now
Monday
it's like in the negatives.
I know.
Monday was nice.
Monday was nice.
It was amazing.
I had some friends that were in Oregon, and I just tell them I had to go travel. I'm like, oh, hopefully you're going somewhere warm. Like I live vicariously through you. I was like, I think it's gonna be 10 below zero when I'm there. It's like, but then I'm going to Arizona next week. So I think between here, like now and then, Monday or Sunday, I'm going to be in Arizona. So I'm like, it's going to be like a 90-degree swing.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts. But yeah, man, I mean, it's nothing like Montana though. And it's fun to be here. I think probably yesterday too was interesting. So I work with one of the companies here and we actually went to high school together. The guy that owns this other company. I knew him in high school and he had a Saul to Paul type moment where I knew him as Jake in high school. And so when somebody's like, I need to connect you with this Jake guy or this Jacob guy, I was like, okay. So I met Meth. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, Jake? And he goes, yeah, I don't go by Jake anymore. He's like, you knew Jake in high school. I'm Jacob. I'm like, Jesus really like, got a hold of it, doing amazing things.
Wow.
Kind of the same thing. And as we're talking, I just had this, it was yesterday when I was meeting with them, and it was this just funny. Like I'm having my 40th birthday with somebody that knew me when I was 15. Like this is a little weird.
Yeah.
And we're working together, and we have been for the last couple of years. And it's just cool. It's weird. And he joked with me. He's like, yeah, Montana just has a way. It's like, it just kind of brings everybody back because we were talking about
Nice.
just funny.
That's cool, man. Um, so you had a meeting today. How'd that all go?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the interesting thing with these sessions is there's always ebbs and flows of companies because there's right. And sometimes it's economy, a lot of times it's team. And so when you see a team that actually gels and has been together, honestly, when you see a team that's been together for more than like 3 years, that's a long
Yeah.
time. That's a long time for a team to actually like come
Absolutely.
together and gel. And so
Yeah.
that's not typical though. And it's the same here with Connor. It was the same company yesterday. Is that there's always seems to be this a bit of revolving door, even on the leadership team, or maybe even especially on the leadership team. Like when there's the talent is limited in places like Montana. I think we've talked about this before that Montana is considered the worst in the nation in terms of labor force. And
Mm,
so there's a lot,
mm,
and so again,
yeah.
kind of this revolving door thing. And then the foundation, this comes from Patrick Lencioni. He has a book, Five Dysfunctions of a Team. And at the top, and it's called the Lencioni Pyramid. I've probably talked about it before, but at the top is results. Every team, every organization wants the results. In order to have results, you have to have accountability, right? People that say, here's what I'm going to do, and they follow through on the thing they do. In order to have commitment is, okay, I'm going to put my heart and soul into this. Therefore, I'm accountable to it. Therefore, we will get results. The layer below that is the thing that messes people up, and that's conflict. You have to have conflict.
Mm,
You have to have disagreements with people. You have to have issues on the table and attack those issues. You attack issues, not people, right? But you need to hash those things out. And if you're going to have a problem with it, you have a problem with it, and you disagree as the leadership team to come to whatever conclusion. And then once you have that nailed down, you then disagree and commit. So you don't go to
mm,
your lower teams and then complain to your lower teams like, hey, boss man told me I have to do this. This is a stupid idea. So we're going to do it, blah, 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 right? Because that shows disunity in the team, right? That's a
yeah.
dysfunction of the team. So you disagree and commit. And the only reason that you can do that is because you have conflict, because you've let your voice be heard, right? You have the balls to say what you need to say when you need to say it. The only reason that works and you can have that type of healthy conflict is when you have trust. And
Right.
trust takes time. And so if you have this constant revolving door of a leadership team, you don't know who you can trust. And do they have
Mm,
the competencies? Are they gonna let me down? Not even intentionally. Like sometimes people have the best intentions. They just don't know the job. They don't know what they're responsible for. They're not good at it, whatever. And so it takes a long time to build the trust where everybody on the team realizes that they have each other's back, and then they can actually lean on each other for things that they need to, so that when you have conflict, it's coming from a place of actual competence. It's not just people talking because they like to hear themselves talk. It's not the Dunning-Kruger effect, like I talked about, where you got young people and they're mouthy and they're confident, but they're incompetent, right?
right.
And so you have that trust, and then once you have trust, you can have healthy conflict, and then you can start getting the commitment behind it and say, yeah, this is what we're going to do. You're accountable to the things that you said you're going to do, and that's where results come in. It's true on any
Mm,
team, any organization. It's just kind of the same things, but yeah, all comes down to trust. And so how do you get to trust faster? That's a question that I'd love to answer someday. I don't have it figured out because I'm like, man, it'd be great. We could sing
yeah.
Kumbaya. But every year when I do these annual planning sessions, there's different modalities or things that I introduce to the team um, to help build that trust. Some of the
Yeah.
things are like 6 types of working genius, or the Kersey model, disc assessments, things like that. The one we did today for Connor and his crew was 7 frequencies of communication, which is Erwin McManus's. Just, I'm not a trainer in any of these things. I just know the concepts. And so it's just kind of like helping them think through, here's the concepts and maybe a new way to think about this. Cause with the Erwin's communication thing, it's like, it's not what you said, it's how you say it. It's kind of the basis of all real bad heated arguments. And so helping people understand, here's
Hmm.
how he's coming across to people. You might not, that's not your intention, but that's what other people are hearing. And so because it's coming across like that, everything sounds like a command. And so everybody's getting ticked off because it sounds like you're a dictator instead of asking questions or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, session was good today. There's a lot of good, hard conversations that need to happen, and they always need to happen. And I feel like I'm the guy that comes in with their grenade, drops it in the room, like, we're going to have this conversation, boom, and let it go off. And then we talked about this on one of the last podcasts, but it's also that there's the skill to know that that's the conversation that has to happen. That's the wounding that needs to happen, because we gotta if we're gonna get into this surgery, like, we gotta cut some stuff out, and it's gonna be
Right.
a little bit of a bloodbath. But also, again, having the skill of surgeon to know, like, when it's too much, when to pull stuff back, when to stop the bleeding, and how to, like, put this thing back together. And that's the thing that everybody's scared of. Um, People are afraid of conflict because they think it's always permanent, right? Or it's going to blow up a relationship or whatever. And I mean, like, no, the conflict, this is the conversation that should have been had. But because of a lack of trust, always comes back to that. Because of the lack of trust, we're not having the hard
No.
conversations that need to have so that we can move forward in a healthy way. Obviously, you
Yeah.
see this all the time. You're a school counselor.
Sure.
It's
Oh
like, why don't
gosh,
you
yeah.
talk to them about that?
Well, I think I've heard it say, I don't know where, I don't remember where I've heard it from. Um, I think like I'm sure a lot of businesses, but also relationships are built on the speed of trust, right?
Yeah.
There's no. I know you mentioned like how do we do it quicker, I, at the speed of trust, right? Like it's hard to quantify or put it into something that looks really nice and neat of when uh, the trust all is there, right? It's a daily. I think it's a daily thing,
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, I see that a lot. Like you said, man, with middle schoolers. Um, actually had I actually had a high schooler come in today, and now this kid like is generally an internalizer. They as long as I've known them, they've always internalized things, and but today was just different. I had my our secretary. He comes in and helps us out, and this particular day, I think he was just reaching out and needing some help, and I was more than happy to kind of support him, and what it kind of boiled down to was kind of that what we talked about previously, is that there's a lack of focus, and so choices were all over the place because there wasn't some sort of intentionality of what you're doing. And so he was basically, just he succumbed to whatever way the wind blew that day. You know what I mean? When you don't have anything, and there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of like personal things that was going on with him that I kind of had to, like, honestly, man, just really help pray through it. It was almost like
Hmm.
like when you're talking about trauma and like past hurts, and that cut deep, that impact your perspective of someone that
Yeah.
we're supposed to love and uh, you know have a sense of safety and like community with them. It was really one of those things that impacted like schooling. So
Hmm.
I tried to like figure out how I can best support, because I mean I can't, I'm not doing therapy sessions with people, even though people want to do therapy sessions with me. I try to do my best to try to make things as practical as I possibly can, like maybe one or two things to like kind of work on.
Yeah.
And so basically is a lot of the things that you and I have sat down and you've helped me like hash out things before. like what are your goals? What are you planning on doing? Right? Just the simple basics. Because right now you're spinning your plates and you're waiting for a plate to fall and break. But you don't have a plan when it does. Like there's nothing. Um, and this is when it like and when you have those hard conflict talks, that kind of what you talked about, right? Within teams, when you have those talks with people and almost essentially like maybe like hold up a mirror to like their choices and their actions and where it's taking them. Excuse me. Um, and do it in a way where they hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's amazing what comes from that. Excuse me. And everything. And then from that point on, things just kind of he just pretty much started to spill a little bit more and more, and making some poor choices as far as like what he's actually doing that's impacting schoolwork and his relationships. And so once we like made this plan, again, the plan is not rocket science. Right? When it came to academics, like you got straight S right now. You have till spring break right now. Give them a time frame so that there's a sense of urgency. Spring break is March 20th. That's your last day. I don't want to see any Fs. But Will, you told me you're serious about this. Well, what are we doing? What am I doing? What are we doing here if you're not serious?
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna hold you accountable. Do you want to do this or not? I do. I want to. And so like we had to rehash that. We had to come back to that. We had to come back to the simple goals that we're trying to like lay out for them. Right? No Fs. You can get these all up to a D, and by goodness, like I'm sure once you kind of get there, you're feeling like you're out of the hole, right? I'm having this conversation with him.
Yeah.
And then you got to be in class.
What?
Like right now, like you shouldn't be here, but divinely, yes, you should. But
Yeah.
you should be in class right now, right? So I don't from here till March, no Fs, and be in class. It'll help you with what's coming up next, which is some of the things that you need to do personally. You're not doing any like sports or anything at school, so you need to get a job, right? Just simple thing. And like what I like some of the hurdles that you just have to help people jump through. And this is where those hard conversations, those looks in the eyes, those changes of tone in your voice, like really have some impact, because like they all want to stop making excuses. I had to like get there at some point. Like at the end of the day, if you don't do it, it's not none of this is all a waste of time, and you're still going to be stuck. March 20th, you'll still be in the same spot, which is, buddy, you're here for a reason. You don't like being in this spot.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Yes, you're right. So, anyways, job. And then he wanted to be like, oh, well, I was looking at this truck, but it's probably going to cost about 10,000. I was like, bro, no, you ain't got no.
You don't got no
What
money.
are you, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was discussing with me something about like things falling apart with the last place that he worked at, and it was over something really petty. You know what I mean? Like, could you have just gone back and like taken care of that? Well, yeah, okay. So, you know what I mean? You have to start thinking like a little bit long term. Which I know some of the high schoolers, it's hard to do that right now, but just like helping them through. That's what I love doing that. There's a sense of like, kind of what you do with business. There's a sense of coaching and encouragement and like, dude, stop. No, I'm,
I was just laughing
I'm
about.
not gonna go there with you.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about like last night when we were having dinner and you were talking about your own kids and decisions and stuff, and you're like, you got goals. Throw
Right?
those around.
He does. That's what I say to my son, my oldest son, all the time. Especially when distractions come his
Oh,
way.
right. Yeah.
You have to. It all comes back to a choice. I can give you encouragement, and I
Hmm.
can I can lecture you. I can say everything I need to say, but at the end of the day, son, you got to make a choice.
Yeah.
What is it? And let me remind you, you got goals. You remember that? You
Remember?
remember
Yeah.
what you're working hard for?
Yeah.
Why you
Yeah.
why you're locked in at school?
Yeah.
Why, you know what I mean? Why you're lifting hard?
Yeah.
Why you're playing sports? Why there's some days when you come home and you're crying, you're hating it because your body's aching? Well, you got goals. That's why you're doing this.
Right.
You
Yeah.
right. You right, Dad. And I get that, man. I love you, Dad. Thank you. Thanks for helping me out. That's fine. That's what dads do.
Yeah.
So like, there's nothing that how I view kids is I wouldn't say anything that I wouldn't say to my own kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna push you just like I push my own kids because I care about you. I don't want, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I care about you. I know that you can do better, and I've seen you do better. So, anyways, like, hashing all these out, like helping them be realistic about, like I know that the kid doesn't come from affluence, right?
Yeah.
So when he gets a job, it's about, but he is, right? He's staying with family members, so there's that help right now. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what you need to do is start banking, and you're looking at like 1,000, $1,700 car, maybe 2,000, like, but
Not
you
a
just
ten
you
thousand
just
dollar
need
truck. Yeah.
we're not doing a lifted truck right now. You're not even at that level. And I told him this. I told him, I was like right now, like you're not even on the court. And once you get a job, you're on the court, yes, but and I asked him, I said, what size shoes are you wearing? And he's like, I wear size 11. I was like, dude, a truck right now is you trying to get on the court and you're wearing your size 11 and you're wearing 15s. Like you don't fit. It's not gonna fit, and you're gonna be sluggish. And it's not. No, no, no. You don't need to start off that way. You need to like be realistic about it. And like you can see as this conversation goes, like lights come on. Just like I'm sure when you have these hard conversations with business people, like they go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh
Yeah.
yeah." So like, anyways, towards the end, he was basically like, I'm doing all this. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I've been doing all this other stuff, but man, when I get home and I talk to my grandparents, man, I'm quitting all of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Good.
well, yeah.
Let's
Now
go.
that you got a couple goals, you got goals now,
Yeah. Yes.
and
Yeah.
those things that you're doing right now is definitely going to stop goal number one, which is linked to goal number two. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, man. I just have a lot like these. It was a great morning. I had a great time just helping out another student, and
Yeah.
it like lifted me up the rest of the day
Man.
because I
And
did
that's so
not
good.
want to be at work.
Well, yeah. Especially when everybody's got to be inside because it's freaking cold outside.
Right,
Yeah.
dude.
But dude,
Dude, I got to pray for a couple kids
that's
who
so
like a couple kids who are like just struggling with just the the small things of like peer relationships and how to handle them, and like, dude, I mean, I spoke the word, um I just love it, man. And I think uh now that I've kind of started to kind of like figure out um like a good layout for like the huddle that I'm doing. Like I really just want to take it back to the fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Like, it's all there. It's all wrapped up. I don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? But those are solid principles that will take you where you need to go, right? So I think next year, I'm just gonna keep it really simple, and and the huddle is gonna be that, is like, in a sense, having a huddle with the Holy Spirit, and just learning like biblical principles, um, maybe just a taste, and you know, hopefully that kids like it, and
Dude,
go do their
that's
thing.
that's so good. Because it said, I mean, against, was it saying Galatians, like with these things there is no law. So I mean, you're not going to get in trouble at all. It's perfect. Just
Ooh,
saying, just saying. But I think the other thing too,
ooh.
and there's 9 fruits of the spirit, 9 months out of the year. You're in school. I don't know, man.
Right?
I think this is inspired, brother. That's good.
Here's how I want to, and like, public schools is what it is. Public schools, right? But like, there's a way that you can do it. You can
Yeah.
you can connect, right?
Oh yeah.
Like just what you said. Like, that was awesome. I love that, man. Like, there is no law against all these things, right? That's fantastic, and which is true. How do I incorporate that? How do I incorporate that verse into
Yeah.
into something like love, into something like gentleness? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, uh, but like, how I see it, to where it's, there's still some work that they got to do on their end to
Yeah.
find the roots of it, right? it's
Yes.
it's kind of like, I know, I know it's a proverb where, it's the king's job to look for the treasure, or some along those lines. It's the
Yeah.
king's
Yeah. Yeah.
job to look for the treasure, that the Lord, like, places for them, right? The,
Yeah.
the Lord hides the treasure. It's for the king to discover them. I
Yeah.
think that's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Yeah.
along
I
those
think.
lines.
Yeah.
And
Easter
that's
eggs,
kind of
Ricky.
how right? That's how I kind of, yeah, right, there you go. It's kind of how I like, it's kind of how I envision,
Mm.
um, like, how the huddle elevates to where, what I truly wanted to do, which is learn to live biblically,
Yeah.
right? Learn to live, not even biblically, but learn to live how God wants us to live, which
Yeah.
is through the Holy Spirit, right? The
Yeah.
fruits. So,
Dude, that's
anyways,
I love that. That is awesome. I love it so much. And I love, I think, all right, so this is where I'm gonna get nerdy for a second. So when I was a youth pastor, and I had this concept or this idea, and I called it the underground. So the underground, not the British rail system, but the the underground was also the name of the French resistance during World War II. That they wasn't the army, right? They were already occupied by Germany, but they were like sabotaging stuff, and they were like taking out bridges, and they were doing like reverse propaganda, and it was pretty crazy. And so thinking like in terms of in the school system, things like that, you can't be overt, right? You can't be like, you couldn't come up and be like, Galatians says, that's gonna get shut down fast, right? Um, but you can go underground, right? You're starting like it's a resistance movement, and they don't know what's happening, because who's going to say that? Hey, we shouldn't teach about love or joy or peace or patience. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be like, this is a bad principle? Really, to have self control? Really, that's a bad principle. Oh, to have gentleness, faithfulness, like being trustworthy. Like, really, this is a bad thing.
right.
So, dude, I love that. That's
Hey,
so
there's
good.
no law.
There's no law.
There's no
Yeah,
law.
it's the thing. There's no law.
There's no law. Oh, I
Love
love it, dude.
That's so good. Ah, I love it. But and the other thing too is you're so right. Like, and I think even in like the school system, like when you're talking to this kid, like, you got goals. Like, I love the just the way you put that. I'm totally stealing that with my boys. Like, dude, you got goals. Like, you're
Goals,
not
man.
you can make that decision if you want, but you got those. Like,
Yeah.
what's the wise thing to do? But instead of,
Right.
I think a lot of times parents, I'm sure I'm guilty of it too. It's just like, well, you have to go to school. You have to get good grades. Have to, right? And instead of allowing people to have that sense of autonomy over themselves, like, cause that's largely what happens with people. Like, as soon as somebody puts their thumb on you, you want to get out from under that thumb as fast as possible, especially when you're an adolescent, I would imagine. I do. I didn't want to live with my parents, and my parents are great. Um, because it was the, like, I have to, like, the authoritarian, like, you are under my house, these are my rules, instead of being like, okay, well, if it's not my rules, it's yours. what are your goals? And then being able to flesh that out with people. And then for the first time, it's just like, oh yeah, this is what I want. Not what my teacher wants, not what my parents want or my grandparents want or whatever, but this is actually what I want. And okay, if you want that, then here's the things you're going to have to do. Now it's going to be hard. That's kind of the point. So
Yeah.
let's go. Let's suck it up and get after it. So yeah, which is why
Yes.
it was so fun. Even today in the
That's
meeting
awesome.
today, me and Connor were talking and if you don't know Kenton, I'm like, Kenton, you got to know Ray. Like he does YFC over at all the high schools. So he's telling us today. He's like, yeah, there's like 20 students there. Anyway, it was just funny. And Connor's like, yeah. He's like, Ray is like, God made him for that position. For what he's doing. Getting into kids' lives and being like, you know, very lovingly, you're being dumb. But kids actually receiving it, and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess I am being dumb. It's like, then you're not dumb. So let's go.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
You
it
just
was
need
fun.
to, change, change your perspective a little bit. It's, that's all it is.
Yep.
What did my one of my favorite guys that I like taking his classes on, like Peloton. He's like my favorite guy. Oh,
Okay.
his name is Dennis Morton. And at the end of classes, or during class, he always says something. He always says like, "I offer suggestions, you make choices."
Ooh, that's good.
Like, and that's always like, oh, but like at the same time, you're like, I know I got to get my heart rate up to to where my heart rate's in the reds. I get it, Dennis. Yes, he's like, what, he
That
doesn't
is,
say it, it's not pointed, but you know his like.
yeah.
Do you really want to slack? You're only on this for 20 minutes. Like, come on. Like, I'm just making suggestions. You make choices. I'm like, ah! Right? And that's how you want to, that's really how, that's how you really want to communicate hard things, right? That is a skill. Like, it's a skill to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so funny too, because like we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago with my boys, and I realized like with them I can't make suggestions. Be like, you have to do this. You are 6. You do not have the mental capacity to.
Right.
You have to have
Right.
shoes. Sorry.
Correct.
you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
But yeah, when you
um,
start getting into adults or even like adolescents, because obviously that's the turning point where it's just like this not just awareness like I'm my own person that happens when you're a little kid, but the like okay now there's this angst because I do want to like have this separation. I think especially if you're a young man, right? It says in the
yeah.
Bible like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go leave my father and mother and it's kind of like okay I'm ready, let's go. I need to pull away, do my thing, be my own man. And so having somebody
Yeah.
help like formulate that like okay what do you mean by that? Where are you going? Like you're so what yeah, I like that though. I make suggestions. What was it? I make suggestions, you make choices.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Peyton had a jujitsu instructor for a while, and his quote was always good because the kids would be like, "Yeah," he's like, "Don't tell me, show me. Don't tell me you know something,
Mm,
show me." Like, I
yeah.
love that because and I'm like, "Yeah, did you do it?"
I
It's
like
like, "Hey,
that too.
don't tell me, show me."
Yeah.
So, it was a good like, yeah,
Yeah.
everything's talk. Show me what you got. Don't.
Right.
No.
Dude, I've been coming to that a lot in our conversations, man. Because especially when I'm helping kids like deal with conflict restoration. I like to restore things. I don't think it's
Yeah,
never an ending. Like, you always have to learn how to restore friendships, or not even friendships, but just to be civil human beings to each other. You know what I mean? And uh, I think that, man, I lost my train of thought right there for a second because I was about to cough. um,
conflict
um,
restoration.
yeah. What were we talking about right before that?
Dang. Oh, don't tell me. Yeah, don't tell
Don't
me.
tell
Show
me,
me.
show me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right. We like sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot of times, and because I'm pretty simple. I try to have kids focus on, let's stop with all the other noise, and let's kind of focus on what we can do and the plan moving forward. So and so that's a lot of it. Like, well, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, don't tell me, show me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of that language in there. You can say that in a whole bunch of different ways, but that's what you really want,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we can talk all about it. We can talk about it all we want to, but the only way to, oh man, who was I talking? I was talking to an adult about, like, why am I always grumpy? Like, why do I not want to, like I know that when I get home, and we're making all these suggestions about, like, yeah, so when you get home, like, and you are grumpy, like, you just say it right off the bat. Just let them know where you're at. I need a couple minutes so that you're not like, well, yeah, but I still don't like being, I still don't like being around people sometimes. I'm like, bro. And so we finally got to the point where we started saying things like that were basically actions. You have to act on it. Yeah, I know, but, like, what if, see, now you're trying to logic your way out of it. You have to put action. Don't show me. Don't tell me, show me. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
So basically, kind of like a version of when you and I really started to, like, hammer down our social skills and force ourselves to go talk to people, random strangers. That's basically what I gave him. I said, dude, just talk to two people a day, two different people a day. He's like, well, I mean, there you go again. There you go again. Do you want to, like, do something that'll impact your stinking thinking when it comes to people, or not?
Yeah.
Well, okay, then talk to two people a day. Well, who do I talk to? Dude, I don't know. Like, it's not hard. When you're out at a checkout line, don't just watch and listen to the boop. The person in front of you has a name tag. Say, oh, hey Joyce, how you doing? Been a long day. I don't know. Like, but that, like, we're laughing at that because that's what we did.
Dude,
we had to do that.
a million times. Which is why I'm laughing, because I'm like, I can't tell you how many Joyces I've met.
And he gave the same look that you and I looked at each other, like, what? Like, no way. Yeah, it's not like this. It starts that way. It's like, there's you just have to say hi to people.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't put action behind, like, taking your, like, stop being like he's so logical. Right? When we get, like, when we want to, like, map everything out in our heads and do this and the worst case scenario, yes, there's a time and place for that, right? Like, there's some planning for it, but, like, when it comes to relationships, and relationships are really like, again, it's about on the speed of trust, but you can't do trust without experiences in action.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude,
I mean,
good.
the good Lord, God. Like, right? God made everything for Adam, except and he had one thing for him. I need you to make a choice.
Yeah.
Don't eat from this one. That's the only one, right? And that's to show him the trust and the love that you have for me, right? Don't eat from this one, right? So, like, it all comes back to what this podcast is all about. It's all about making choices, and choices require action.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like, I'm gonna check in and be like, so, did you meet any Joyces out there? What's going on? Like, did you do it? Because what's at stake here is that your grumpiness is carrying on to your family, and your family can read it.
Right.
And you right now you're stuck. You want to stay stuck because you want to logic your way out of it. No, you have to make a choice and put action behind it. And nothing, dude, we're around people everywhere. It's okay. Like, just say hi.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not out there to bite you. Maybe some people are, but the majority of people, the majority of people, you know what I mean? Especially when especially when you like become genuine about it, right? When you genuinely are interested of how your cash register person's day is going. Oh, I really appreciate that. And it's amazing what comes out of it. Hey, did you know there's a sale for this? I'm like, no, I did not. Yeah, it's going on for the rest of the rest of the week. I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We actually need more bacon. I'm actually going to come back and get some. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even think about it, but I am going to get some. Thanks for letting me know. Good stuff comes out of it when you have a heart to like take your eyes off yourself and whatever it is that you're ruminating about that's negative and put it on
Yeah.
someone else.
Dude. It reminded me of something we were talking about last night. And I think it probably comes full circle with our conversation too, is last night we were talking about, the information age is kind of dying or it is dead.
Mm.
Like there's more information in your pocket with ChatGPT. And now people are talking about we're in the attention economy. But my opinion is that the attention economy is going to die. And I think it's going to, I was saying last night, I think it was like 10 years. I think it's going to be faster than that because so many people are just, it's wearing, man. Like all these people trying to get famous on TikTok and like all this stuff. And, there's only so much scrolling you can do before you're just like, ugh, like this just sucks. So I think that it's moving to more of a trust economy. Right. And we were talking about the speed of trust. And I think that as people lean into that and they lean to like, am I a trustworthy person? Am I a person that is actually genuine? Like you're saying, like, I'm not just meeting Joyce because, okay, how do I take my eyes off myself, put it on Joyce? Cause she's probably having a rough day too, you know? And it's so
Yeah.
funny because that becomes habitual over time. Right. But then anyway, but that as we move into the trust economy, that is going to be the thing that is going to pay dividends, but it's not going to pay off in the short term. Not the attention economy is very short term. It's very fast. Like we're talking like 10, 15-second videos, like whatever the hook is, whatever the catch is. And so it's like, no. The dividends that are going to pay over time in the trust economy are you better not do stupid things and post it online today. Right? Because that is
Right.
going to bite you. And it already does. And I think people hopefully are getting wise to that. Like the first thing that you do when you hire somebody, newsflash, if you don't know this and you're
Right.
going to a job interview, they're going to look you up on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and whatever else. And if
Mhm.
they can't find anything, that's actually a positive, believe it or not.
It is.
Or if they find something, it better be good. It better be like football highlights or something, from your career. So, you know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
I think as we move into
Yeah.
that trust economy, and it goes back to
Yeah.
man, yeah, and even like you're saying, like the don't tell me, show me. It reminded me of that verse, like faith without works is dead. That's all it is. Like, yeah, I've got faith. Okay, don't tell me, show me. Show me what you mean by that. It's not that your salvation is based on that, but it is. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, but
Yes, I
show me what
do.
you mean by this, and that's what builds
I,
trust.
I, I said that, by the way.
Did
I
you?
said that. Yes, I did.
Of course you did.
Absolutely. Faith without, because he's also a Christian too. So like, you know what I
Dude.
mean? I can
Yeah.
speak to that, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're on the same page, man. Like, yeah, dude. I love your. I think you're right on, man. The trust economy is coming because we live in a world. Yes, we're vying for attention, but like we living in a world where like fakeness, lies is running rampant.
Yes.
AI, dude, like AI stuff, like you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
I,
It's just wearing
dude,
people
right
out.
before I got on, dude, I was kind of doom scrolling a little bit, not too much, but like I was watching jeez Louise, I was watching a lion attack a dog and its puppies, and like, and I was like, what? Oh no, poor puppies, and then like a one male dog got like all of his other male dogs to be like, hey, we got to go rescue this. And I was like, I was looking, I was like, my gosh, dude, how did this guy film this? And then as I go, and I'm like, this can't be real. And it pulled at my heartstrings because I'm like, wow, this is a big lion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I say all that to say is that I was like, I was duped for like 10 seconds
Yeah.
because it's such a heartwarming story, like the rescue, all that stuff. We right, we live in an age where, yes, attention, but like there's so much. The fake news is a term. Like there's so much. The enemy is running rampant right now, man, and just and lies and half truths are all over the place, man. And so when you hear the truth come up, it's so like,
Yeah. Because value always comes in scarcity, right? And in rarity. Like diamonds are valuable. And so that's why I think the trust economy, because trust is such a low point right now. And so finding trustworthiness, right? And somebody to not like trust in, not like salvation, but like last night we were talking about, that's why Joe Rogan, and I think that's the rise of popularity of podcasts and long and things like that. I mean, the 5 people that probably watched this episode, you know, they might want to hear what we have to say. And if they know who we are, it's funny. I actually had a friend, she texted me for my birthday yesterday and she was saying, thanks for the podcast. You know, me and my sister have something wholesome to listen to. So I was like, well, good. I know 3 people that listen to the podcast. Um,
wait,
yeah. So, but it's interesting, but it's also, it goes back to that, like in an age where trust is rare, it's scarce, it
yeah,
then is valuable, right? And so
ooh, I like
everything that you do,
it.
your life, align your life so that that's going to be the currency.
That might be probably gonna be a table conversation at some point, right there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trust is rare, and you hold a lot of value to things that are rare. So like hold that tight, man. Let's loyalty and what is it? Hang on to kindness and loyalty, because that's how good reputations spring forth, right? Holding on to those two things, loyalty and kindness, I believe.